Thanks so much for joining us tonight on Unscripted. A bit of a chilly day out there for some folks across northern Michigan. Others maybe a little more mild. And another one of those days where we have a pretty wide temperature range. But for all of us, it has been dry today. That will change tomorrow. Joe, you've been talking about rain for our Thursday. When can we expect to see that?
Starting tomorrow morning. If you're up in the UP, the further south you are, the earlier it will be in the day tomorrow. But if you're up north in the UP, probably late morning, early afternoon up there. But once it starts, it's going to continue for a fair portion of the day tomorrow. And this will be a little more of a good rain coming in tomorrow. But it won't last long. A couple showers Friday, and then just in time, we saw this last weekend, just in time for the weekend, then we'll get some dry weather in here as well. So we'll look at that, how much rain, we'll have a specific look for number of counties that we're expecting. And again, a look ahead toward the weekend coming up a little later, Maya.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Our top story tonight takes us to Grand Traverse County, where this afternoon a woman was sentenced to serve at least a year and a half behind bars. A jury found Abigail Sears-Batowski guilty in March for operating under the influence, causing serious injury. Now, the case goes back to a 2023 crash where Sears-Batowski pulled out and hit another vehicle that did have the right-of-way. There was a lot to unpack. The sentencing was about 2 hours, so we're just going to give a quick recap right now. The people that were in the other vehicle, they described how this crash left a lasting impact on them. The family explained they were just trying to get some ice cream at Moomer's when this happened. The mom and son are both still recovering from their injuries and learning how to live with them. Take a listen.
You almost killed me. You made my mother say goodbye to me because some of the best child surgeons in the country thought I was going to die. You made me forget 18 hours of my life.
But the lack of accountability, remorse, or compassion from the defendant is despicable. That is one of the most concerning aspects of this situation. She was never honest about what happened. She never took accountability. She told others that she was not drinking that night. It has only made it more difficult for me, my family, and our friends to go through.
And Circuit Court Judge Hamlin said he agreed that he didn't believe that Sears-Batowski had taken responsibility for her actions the night of the crash. Again, there's a lot that happened at this sentencing this afternoon, and we will have a full recap tonight on UpNorthLive News at 11. Raider Strong, that is the rally cry as schools within the Charlevoix-Emmett Intermediate School District come together to support the Charlevoix varsity golf team. As you recall, they got into an accident over the weekend. Some of them are still in the hospital recovering now. So Raider Strong Day will be held on Friday. Students are being asked to wear maroon ribbons along with Charlevoix apparel and create signs and posters to show support. Now, that crash happened on Sunday on M115 in Benzie County that left, again, the coach and some of the golfers injured.
People want to do something, but they're not sure what. And so I think this hopefully gives people at least one way to show the Charlevoix student body, in particular, obviously the golf team, how much support is out there in northern Michigan and actually across the entire state.
And another way that the community is showing their support, Castle Farms in Charlevoix County is hosting a fundraiser to support the Charlevoix golf team and their families affected by the recent crash. There will be a dinner and a silent auction held on Tuesday, May 13th from 4 to 6 p.m. Castle Farms says all proceeds will go directly to the families affected. Turning over to state news now, House Republicans voted today on a change to zoning authority when it comes to large-scale green energy projects, including solar projects. So with a vote of 58 to 48, the House bill gives approval of those projects back to local governments. Now, under a 2023 law, the state had the final say, not local governments. The law passed when the House was still under Democratic control and drafted in response to fierce local pushback tied to major projects, arguing that's a big obstacle preventing the state from hitting its energy goal. Now, the plan now moves to the Senate for further consideration. For more on this plan, let's bring in our guest today, Representative Parker Fairbairn from Harbor Springs. Representative Fairbairn, thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And real quick, I'd like to just say a big shout out to the Charlevoix golf team and their coach while they go through this really hard time.
Absolutely. No, that is an area right where you are living. So it's very nice to hear support coming from everyone in the state of Michigan right now for those students and that coach and the entire community. But turning back to our state news tonight, so we know that this plan with solar projects passed along party lines, so obviously you voted in favor of it. Why do you think it's important that these decisions when it comes to large green energy projects are in the hands of local governments instead of the state?
Absolutely. I mean, what we hear from our local farmers and across the state, this should be left up to our locals. It shouldn't be decided by unelected bureaucrats. And that's what we're trying to stop with this legislation.
And so when the 2023 bill was first passed by Democrats who controlled the House, they mentioned that the goal of that was to try to get through some obstacles to try to meet their energy goals. Do you think with this new plan, if it does get passed through the Senate, could this potentially harm the state's goals when it comes to clean energy?
Yeah, well, those people obstructing that are local farmers and locals units of government because they don't want that in their municipalities and in our townships. I mean, that's why we have these obstacles, and then they go and try and ramrod this through the state and let unelected bureaucrats decide that. That's why we ultimately came up with this legislation, or pushing it so hard. We want locals to be able to decide zoning changes. It should not be up to the state.
And is that something that you've heard from your constituents too in your district, that they want control over this process?
Absolutely, all across the board. We shouldn't be taking power away from our locals. That's just not the right thing. It's what our country was founded on, as locals doing the right thing. And part of that is zoning. I mean, that's a huge part of what makes our communities our communities. And if our communities want these solar projects and want these wind projects, they can have it, but they need to go through the proper channels of local zoning to do that.
Sure. Are you confident that this plan will get through the Senate?
Well, it's a Democrat-led Senate, so we're not sure as to the outcome of that, but it's really common sense. I mean, at the end of the day, we wanted less state control and more local control. So it's really a common sense solution. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. It should have never been brought up last year and never passed.
And Representative Fairbairn, switching gears now, it has been about a month since that historic ice storm devastated many communities across northern Michigan. And I know you are working on a plan to try to bring some relief to those who are affected in northern Michigan. Can you tell us about that plan and where that stands right now?
Yeah, so we're going through some changes in the legislation. I believe it'll be brought to the floor in the very near future for a vote on the floor. And I'm seeing bipartisan support for that. People see the need, and really it's been an effort of all my colleagues, from Congressman Bergman to State Senator John DeMoose. I mean, all of us, it's been a huge push to show people the damage, because it didn't get the national coverage it should have. This is a once-in-a-generation storm and really needs the spotlight on it.
Absolutely. So would your plan then bring money from the state to help cover these recovery efforts?
Absolutely. Right now, it's a $300 million plan. From the state, it would be $75 million, and we're looking to help our local units of government. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. They've expended tremendous amounts of their money and their budgets throughout the year, and they're worried they won't be able to do their regular day-to-day activities because they've spent all this money. So we're trying to help them out, which will help all the people in northern Michigan out.
And what was it like for you just seeing so many areas around your district struggling and just dealing with the aftermath of this ice storm?
Yeah, I mean, when you put the numbers together, 1 million acres, it's unbelievable and frankly unfathomable. But what we're trying to do, we want people to know we're here for them. The state's here for them. And that's why we push this so fast, trying to get this money to show our locals we've got their back, and we know this is really hard for you, and we're here for you.
Representative Fairbairn, is there anything else that you want to mention, anything else that you are working on right now that you want to talk about before we let you go?
Yeah, well, we're working on a really interesting plan right now to try and get regulations out of the way for our builders and let builders build. That's what we're trying to do, is make it easier for builders to build in Michigan. ultimately lowering the price of housing and making Michigan a more attractive state to live in.
And where does that plan stand?
We're working through the steps right now. We've had great conversations with local builders and plumbers. I mean, all sorts of people trying to get perspectives and coming up with a plan right now in my regulatory reform committee. It's going really, really well.
Well, you'll have to keep us updated on where that goes from here. But thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted, Representative Fairbairn. We really appreciate you taking time to chat with us today. And we do have one more story to share with you before we have to take a quick break. This one related to the upcoming May election. So Reed City Area Public Schools has an $88.1 million bond on the upcoming May ballot. And our Audrey Boucher spoke with the school superintendent about what the money could be used for. And she also spoke with some people who are against it. Take a listen.
Superintendent Michael Sweet says the bond will be used for much needed safety and infrastructure upgrades.
The biggest thing, right, I go to safety. All right, so at our middle school, we do not have a secure entrance. When you enter the middle school, you come in and you have access immediately to the rest of the building. You don't have to go through an office.
The plan includes a secure vestibule, new sidewalks and crosswalks, and a safer student pickup and drop-off area. Existing spaces like the library would be repurposed for new middle and high school offices, and the current gym would become a new auditorium.
So part of this proposal would be to repurpose different areas in the building. So we'd repurpose the current high school cafeteria into a new band room, and then we would take the existing gymnasium and repurpose it and renovate it into a 600-seat auditorium. But in order to do that, right, you have to build a new gym too. So we build a new gym, which would increase some of our athletic capabilities.
The bond would also fund a new HVAC system, windows, and roofing at GT Norman Elementary. Sweet says it's been nearly 20 years since the district made major upgrades and is needed to help Reed City schools compete through school of choice.
It's very important to continue to be competitive with other area districts. Cadillac's investing in their school system, right? They just went through a series of renovations and some big repurposing of areas. They added on to their cafeteria and bits in their high school. Big Rapids has made some major athletic upgrades and other pieces in recent years. Reed City just hasn't done that.
Superintendent Sweet says if the bond is approved, it equates to about $4.50 per $1,000 of taxable value.
My honest thoughts are it's too much money, and the things that they want to spend a lot of the money on are not necessary.
Lang says she'd rather see the school focus on improving curriculum instead of upgrading the infrastructure.
Reed City School District's proficiency levels, from what I found put out by the Michigan Department of Education, in every subject is below 40%. So I think there needs to be more of a focus, maybe not so much on the extracurricular, but about the core education that our students are receiving. Some of the things I completely understand, but they put everything into one big package, and it doesn't seem feasible.
In Reed City, Audrey Boucher, UpNorthLive News.
And I accidentally skipped over our question of the day related to solar projects and who should have the final say in those projects. So let's take a look at the question now. Do you think the state should have full authority over green energy projects? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to our website where you can vote. And looks like right now, majority of voters are saying no. 76%. in fact, are voting no. We have 168 votes and quite a few comments on our Facebook page as well. So as always, I will take another look at the results and some of your comments toward the end of the show. But right now we are going to take a quick break, but we'll check back in with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix, and he'll have much more detail on the upcoming rain for our Thursday. Straight ahead.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Northern Michigan, so we could use some more rain, and some more rain is on the way. We will see some of that tomorrow. And Joe, you mentioned the rain could last for most of the day.
Yeah, a fair portion of the day. I'd say that's pretty fair to say for sure. And it has been dry. I know we had a little rain a day or so ago, a few thunderstorms too, but we still could use more with that fire danger, because after Friday, Thursday into Friday, after that, we have a bit of a dry stretch again. So rain would be good. Let's take a look in Charlevoix County. This is our UpNorthLive Skyview drone. There earlier today, you can see the farm there. If you look in the bottom left, you can see some horses there grazing. And not a lot of leaves yet, but it is starting to green up. And I imagine a little rain will kind of help in that cause coming up here. Let's take a look. Speaking of Charlevoix County, there is National Weather Service spotter training there. That is going to be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. So if you're interested, this is free to attend. The National Weather Service office in Gaylord will be on hand. Classes, they last about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And this will be at the Charlevoix Township Fire Department tomorrow night at 6 o'clock off Waller Road there in Charlevoix. We've had a few clouds drifting overhead. It was a nice day today overall. There's a look at that. Some of these clouds passing through northern Michigan, they are going to continue to thicken up. Some spots already becoming overcast. Meanwhile, down here around Chicago, the far southern part of the state, we already have a little bit of light rain. This is going to increase later tonight and track toward our area. Meanwhile, we have 3 areas. You see those red boxes where we have tornado watches tonight, and a lot of flash flooding in parts of Texas, where we have flash flood warnings into Arkansas, parts of Louisiana, and then another tornado watch up there around St. Louis, which includes parts of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Now, we're not going to get any severe weather here, but we'll kind of time out this rain. Pretty dry tonight, but by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, there's the rain entering the picture. This will lift from south to north. So if you're up around Sheboygan, Sault Ste. Marie, it'll take a little while to get there till perhaps late morning, early afternoon. And there's that rain through the afternoon, evening hours. Rain will continue in the UP. And then that will come to an end. And then we'll head into Friday. And while we have more of a steady rain tomorrow, Friday will be more showery. But even Friday, kind of cloudy, kind of cool with some of those showers hanging around. As far as how much rain, very little tonight. But when all is said and done, we're looking at anywhere from a ½ inch to perhaps up to an inch or more of rain. So again, a little bit of a soaker for some spots coming up here as we head into, again, the day on Thursday into Friday. So not the best for outdoor activities tomorrow. Caution still Friday because of showers, but then things looking good on Saturday. All right, extended forecast. After Friday, not a lot of rain in the forecast. A dry weekend expected. May take a little while to break up the clouds on Saturday, but Sunday looks nice, sunshine, and we start warming up too. We're back into the 60s and 70s as we head into early next week.
Sounds pretty lovely to me.
All right.
Thanks, Joe. We're going to take another quick break, but we will talk some high school softball with our sports director, Harrison Beebe. City today, our sports director, Harrison Beebe, was there and is here now to give you some highlights. Hey, Harrison.
Yeah, Maya, a couple weeks ago, we spotlighted the Gaylord Blue Devils in the Jimmy John's Sports Corner to talk about the fact that they are the 2-time defending state champions, and it's pretty tough to win 2 state titles in a row, and the group is definitely motivated to go for a 3rd one this year. They've got a senior leader on the group that is pretty equipped to help lead this team in Aubrey Jones, and she was a big part of the game today in the doubleheader against Traverse City West. There's the video. It was being punched up. This is Aubrey actually right there. Sack fly to right that would bring home a run. The team lost a lot of seniors from a year ago, so they are looking a little different compared to the previous 2 championship teams, but they're still preseason ranked #1. Still have a lot of high expectations, and last left this doubleheader with West, it was Gaylord leading 7-0. So the team is definitely going to be in contention for another state championship. We'll find out in June how that path works out. I know they're motivated, and it'll be exciting to see, you know, especially when those teams are so used to making deep postseason runs, how they deal with adversity and go up against opponents, even with losing a few girls. Some of those girls, you know, the mentality of like the next girl up or guy up, depending on what the sport is. They plug into those holes and want to accomplish what the teams before them did. So no doubt that's a lot of what's going on in the Gaylord locker room to get them motivated to go for that rare 3-peat. I've never seen a team 3-peat in a team sport up here in northern Michigan in that team competition. So it'd be exciting to see if they can pull that off come June.
Do you know if that's ever happened in softball here?
Up here, I don't off the top of my head. I mean, it's pretty rare, so I would guess no. I'm sure somebody across the state has done it in one of the 4 divisions at some point, but it's asking a lot, regardless of if you're a powerhouse program or not. And there are some pretty powerhouse teams, so I wouldn't be surprised. I know Battle Creek St. Philip comes to the top of my head for volleyball. They won, I think, like 10 state titles in a row at one point. So, you know, if you get the right team cooking in the right spot, then you can keep winning those titles. But yeah, we're not going to diminish it. Gaylord's got 2 impressive ones in the trophy case already, and 3 would be pretty cool. But we'll wait and see how that stuff develops.
Yeah, no matter what sport and what team, going for a three-peat is never an easy challenge. But of course, we're wishing the Blue Devils the best of luck, as well as every other team across northern Michigan. Thanks, Harrison, so much for that update. Let's take a quick break. We will check out our question of the day live results next.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Earlier in the show today, the Michigan House voted on a bill that would give approval of clean energy projects like solar and wind projects back to local governments. So our question today is, do you think the state should have full authority over green energy projects? You can see the live results on your screen right now. 76% of voters are saying no. Over on Facebook, Joe says, I think it should be voted on by the people. After all, it is our money they're using. And Vicky says, no, those who live there should decide what they live near. I couldn't find any comments for anyone who voted yes, but you can join the conversation on our Facebook page. We are all out of time. Thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted.